Hello Earthlings. So this is a very brief introduction to the idea of New Welfarism. Most advocates for other animals, regardless of how they self-identify, animal rightist, animal liberationist, vegan activist for example, appear to be unaware that their advocacy is grounded in the ideology or language of animal welfare. The crude distinction that we draw between animal welfare and animal rights is that animal rights is about ending animal use, and animal welfare is about the humane treatment of other animals while they're being used. So that puts me into the rights camp, say many animal advocates, because I too want to end all animal use. Surely they think they cannot be an animal welfarist if they want to end all animal use. They certainly do not align themselves, for example, with traditional animal welfarism. That is, the type of campaigning that you get from organisations like the RSPCA in Britain, or the ISPCA in Ireland, or the Humane Society of the United States, HSUS. And so, there is a concept which is usually disliked and yet valid in many respects. It's been around since a legal scholar developed it in 1996. There's been a few modifications of this concept since then, but the basic idea is that while rejecting traditional or so-called classical animal welfare, the modern-day animal movement embraces a new or neo-welfare position. A position that seeks the abolition of animal use as a long-term goal, while embracing welfare reforms, such as moves from, say, the battery cage to the enriched battery cage, or the promotion of the controlled atmosphere killing of chickens and other animals, rather than having their throats cut in houses of slaughter. So I think many modern-day animal advocates will not recognise themselves as new welfarists. Maybe they would say Peter may well campaign in favour of gassing chickens in Canada, but they themselves will not do such a thing. However, even these same advocates appear to be committed to the use of welfare language to talk about what they say is animal rights. The dominant talk in the animal rights movement is welfarist in nature. We talk about our opposition to animal cruelty, our opposition to animal abuse. We even say that we're animal lovers. In cultures that are as deeply speciesist as the ones in which these advocates operate, opposing animal cruelty and opposing animal abuse is a confusing message. For the culture of speciesism also says that causing animal cruelty is wrong, especially if causing unnecessary suffering, as opposed to necessary suffering, is involved. The ideology of speciesism also says that it opposes animal abuse. When the moral agents in a speciesist society hear that animal rights means not being cruel to other animals and not abusing them, they hear a message that they already agree with. The solution then is to make reforms that eliminate the cruelty and stop the abuse. They start from a position in which animal use is not a problem. So for them, in their ears, why would stopping animal cruelty and stopping animal abuse mean ending animal use and going vegan? When animal advocates say such things as the animal movement is about abolishing the worst forms of animal abuse, the speciesists couldn't agree more. When animal advocates get embroiled in arguments about the percentage of times other animals are successfully rendered unconscious or stunned in houses of slaughter, the welfare response The culture's response is to say that reforms should be introduced to make stunning methods more efficient. Let's put some cameras into these houses of slaughter. That should do it, they might suggest. This session today is set up to explore the rather bizarre idea that the animal rights movement should be based on animal rights, and that to achieve that goal, at least some parts of the movement have to believe in the notion that, to coin a term that animal rights philosopher Tom Regan and Gary Francione came up with in 1992, that a movement's means creates its ends. The caveat that I would add is that a movement's language sets out its stall clearly and consistently, or can do. It reduces confusion, or could do, in the recipients of the message. So, can we achieve animal rights through animal welfare talk? Let's talk.